Welcome back to Small Plates,
Hey,
and with your hosts, Professor West and Professor Valentine.
hey
Um,
again.
today, today we're doing a problem that has a lot of different names to it. A lot of people will call it different things. So we put all the possible terms in here on the title. So it can be joint costs, split off, additional processing, all those different things. But Professor Valentine is actually going to drive us home on this one because I can't keep track of all the words. So anyway, he's kind enough to take us through this one. This is always kind of a challenging problem for students, so you need to pay attention as he starts talking about the process that he's going to go through, because many of you haven't seen a process in a facility that makes things like this. So, this is another one of those situations where you have to say, all right, how is this going to affect companies that even in contexts when I might not have seen a company like that yet? So, Eric, let's go over here and look at your information. And oh no, I've given away the plot line. So hold on just a second. I've got to eliminate that. Okay, now go ahead, Eric.
All right, yeah. So had a buddy in graduate school in my master's program who was a hog farmer, and we were talking about how if you've ever driven past a swine farm, you see how
Oh,
how you feel how the smell is just pungent. It just punches you in the face. Yes, and we were teasing him about that, and he said, to me, it smells like money, and so like shut us all up.
yeah.
So we were talking about this whole process. He was a good friend of mine, and this problem came to mind. So we have this Imperial Swine Company. They have this. They produce three types of products: fresh pork bellies, and untreated hides. And so the the primary product, or the primary input rather, is a hog. It's a hog.
So this is where it comes into the process. So
Yes.
you got your hog.
Yep.
Okay, great. Then what
And
happens?
so after at the split off point, okay, so we have this hog. We've raised them, we've fed them, we've housed them, we've given them veterinary and vaccinations and that sort of thing. So once they have come to size, they can now be processed. So at the process, after processing, they have three products: fresh pork roast, fresh pork bellies, untreated hides. They sweep the floor to make spam, and then
We're gonna use the term process as a nicer word here, right?
yes.
They've been processed. Okay,
Right.
got it. All right.
So
Now,
now we can do further processing of these three products for curing. We can cure the ham. We have cured ham from the fresh pork roast. We have bacon from the fresh pork bellies, and Berkshire leather. It's really fancy, smashy leather from the untreated hides. Um, so we have a decision. We have a market now for these products right after our processing, our original processing, and or we can add a little bit more effort to these processes to cure them and tan them, and we can sell them for a little more money. Here's the question: is that incremental revenue that we're going to earn, is that going to be more than the incremental cost we're going to incur for this further processing?
so let me move over to this next spot and think about that for a second. So you're telling me, okay,
Mhm.
that I need to focus on incremental revenue
Mhm.
and cost.
Yep, exactly.
And these incremental amounts, do I think about those as occurring from when the hog shows up or after this thing you call split off?
Right. Now that's very key. At prior to split off, those costs are what's called our joint cost.
Oh,
Our,
okay. So if I go back to my original look, this, the thing you're calling joint costs,
yep. That's the cost of just, you know, the primary acquisition of the input.
Okay, so we're trying to get it from this stage into this first kind of first products
Yes,
once we based on initial process, and
exactly.
they're available for a market right at that point. And you're
Hmm.
telling me that you're making a decision about whether or not to sell it here or process it further to sell it here, and that difference between this and this from the previous page can generate incremental revenue and incremental cost.
Right.
Is that
Yeah.
fair?
Correct. It
Okay.
is not costless for us to process this further. I mean, we can cut bait now and sell it now, or we can do a little bit more to it, but that's going to cost us money.
Okay. So if we kind of put back in our little visual,
Mhm.
how does the money flow through this visual?
Well, so what we have to decide is what we have to determine is the difference between what we can sell it for now. Let's look at this pork belly. We can sell this pork belly now for 94,000. If we process it further, we can sell it for 115. So that
You're talking about the pork roast. Okay.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Pork roast.
So I
Yes.
could sell the roast for 94,000
Hmm.
at that point, but that cut of meat can be turned into something nicer and the cured ham. And so at that point, its value is 115. So how does that give me my incremental revenue?
That difference, the 94, the 115 minus the 94, that's a $21,000 difference.
Oh, okay. Well, then I certainly would want to always, if I'm going to get extra money, I'll always want to process it further, right?
Not necessarily,
Was I
because
stupid again? All right, go ahead.
what you have to consider is how much it's going to cost us to earn this extra $21,000.
Oh, okay. So
That
somebody's got
is
to
our
give me that number, right?
Yes, that is our separable cost after split off. That's our extra processing cost. So it's 28,000, right? So we are going to actually what the punchline of this analysis is that we are paying $28,000 to earn $21,000 in this particular case.
Say
That's
that again, because that is what? That's a
yeah,
what
you're
moment?
right.
All right, tell me that
So
again.
we're incurring a $28,000 cost of further processing, but the benefit we're going to receive is only going to be $21,000 additional. So we're paying $28,000 to earn $21,000. That's not a good deal.
So this is where we tie it back to these other differential cost problems we've done when we've looked at this cost benefit. And the cost benefit that you're focusing us on right now is happening in this space right here.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
So if we went over here and looked at it in a bit more accounting ease,
Yes.
because I do love a good spreadsheet. So if I look at the first part here, you've got a line that calls sales value after process. So that's going to be these costs right here. And remember, these are costs for what was the first one? Ham,
Yes. Ham, bacon, and leather.
leather. Okay. And so they're taking the pork roast, a little more processing. You can get a ham, a pork belly, a little more processing. You can get a bacon, and the hides I can turn into leather.
Yep.
And so the decision is at what stage of this process do we want to make? And so Eric knows that if I go ahead and process these things further into these nicer products, you're going to get these revenues. And so tell me again how I'm going to get my incremental revenue.
Well, we can sell it now. We have a market to sell these goods now for at the split off for a certain price. So for our pork roast is 94, for bellies 60 and hides are 66.
Okay. And we got those numbers because they were given to us in the problem over here. Okay.
Yep.
And you specifically identified them as the sales value at split off.
Right.
The students.
Because you'll see a lot. You'll see a lot of different terms for that: sales value, split off, sales value prior to processing. You know,
Yep.
so,
Yep.
yeah. Just understand where that is in the price. Don't get fixated on a nomenclature. Understand.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a really good point. So, kind of think about it as I could sell it as one type of product here, or I could sell it later after I do some more work to it as perhaps a nicer product.
Right.
So let's go ahead and go through the analysis you put together here. So when you talk about incremental revenue, you're talking about the difference between the nicer product and the one that we could, the price we could get when we sold it at split off. And so then you're going to talk about this cost of further processing, which is also incremental cost. And that was in your previous sheet as well, right?
Correct. Yeah, that was given in the previous sheet. I also want to make a point. We were just talking about the language, the jargon. Yeah. I called it additional sales value, and you may also see incremental revenue.
I couldn't hear that last part. What was it? You call it a what?
Additional sales value. In this table, additional sales value, but it is incremental revenue. So understand what these understand what it means. The terms may change, but understand that the additional sales value is equal to or is synonymous with revenue.
And so, and we've said this throughout our small plates videos, is that learning to read these problems is one of the big challenges.
It is.
What Professor Valentine is asking you to remember is you got to be flexible. You
yes.
can't just go in and say it's always this term, or it's always this, or it's always that. So as we finish this analysis up, we've got two products. You've got brackets around those. What does that mean to me? What is that to me there?
That means that those are negative. That means that we are actually paying more. Our cost is greater than our benefit. So the cost of further processing for the pork roast, in order to turn it into a ham, it's going to cost us $28,000, but we're only going to gain $21,000. So we have a $7,000 loss basically if we were to process this further.
And so we want to make sure that we go ahead and process it further, right?
I'm sorry, say it again.
Exactly. It was the stupid thing I said. The leading question was, you clearly want to process this further, right?
Oh yeah, sure. No, of course not. Yeah. If your costs exceed your benefits, you always want to run the other way quickly. And similar for the leather, for the hides. You're going to pay $14,000 to earn $13,000. Now bacon is it's a winner.
Yeah.
We're paying $10,000 in processing costs, but we're going to gain $22,000 in additional sales value.
Okay.
That's the one we clearly want to go forward with.
So you call this process further?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So let's see. Ultimately, so that's an increase in revenue, an incremental revenue, and an incremental cost that should give us an additional $12,000 in profit, right?
Yes.
So one of the ways I kind of look at it then, I tend to look at a lot of things just through an income statement lens.
Mm-hmm.
So how about if we go back and think about this in terms of how my income statements would change in these two different situations?
Sure.
Okay. So if I think about it as the original setup, we knew we could sell the pork roast and the pork bellies and the hides at this value. And we knew, don't forget those joint costs he was talking about, because those are incurred in a total that got us to the pork roasts, the pork bellies, and the hides. So they're not associated with any specific product, but they certainly are a cost to getting to those revenues. But that's not the tricky part. So Eric, take us through the tricky part.
So the tricky part is we are
That's
our
a technical accounting term.
yes. Our pork roast and our hides are going to remain the same. We're not going to do anything additional to those. But the
And so what we had before just carries forward because
exactly.
you made the decision in the last piece that said there's no benefit to it. We're paying more than we get, so we're just going to sell it at split off.
Right. We're going
Okay.
to sell
All
it
right.
fresh. Right.
All right.
And so for the pork belly portion,
Okay.
we decided, hey, that's more lucrative for us as a ham than as a
bacon.
yeah than as a fresh belly.
Okay.
So we're going to include that incremental that additional sales value of 82,000.
Okay.
And it's going to cost us 10,000 to process this further.
All right.
Our net revenue is going to be 72,000 now instead of the 60 if we were to sell it right at the split off point.
And we still have we still have the joint costs in there.
And think about that joint cost. Remember, we talked a lot in our previous episodes about segmented marketing and common costs.
Oh yeah.
That joint processing cost could be considered a common cost of these three products.
And so the difference in the incomes, 200 compared to 212, the difference is $12,000, and it's a number we've seen before, okay? Because it represents the number that we had right here.
Magic.
The difference between the incremental revenue and the incremental cost. Anything else you need to add, Professor Valentine?
I think that's it. If the benefits exceed the cost, you want to go with it.
All right. Well, we'll go on from there, and we'll hopefully help. This video helps you get ready for the final, and that's always our goal. So with
Absolutely.
that, we're out of here. So see you guys later. Have a great day. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.